Hi guys, this is Julia and today I have a special video for you. It's an introduction to coloring with colored pencils, but I also want to talk about coloring classes because those skills didn't just drop into my lap. I wish. I had to work to get them. So on my blog I have an extensive comparison about coloring classes that I have taken, online classes that you can take as well, both for Copics and for colored pencils. You can read up on all the details on my blog. There's also a coupon code for you, and I'll get to that in a moment. When it comes to colored pencils, my personal recommendation, and I'm saying this completely independently, I'm not being paid to say this, are the classes by Kit and Clowder. You can find links to my blog and to Kit and Clowder in the video description below. I have started taking classes from Kit and Clowder this spring. This is spring 2015, and the video that I'm going to show today is basically the result of just taking the class for 2 weeks. This is what you will see is my coloring just after 2 weeks. So I'm not trying to show off to you that I'm now the best colored pencil colorer of in the entire world. Would be nice, but I'm not, and that's okay. But I just want to show you how far I progressed in just 2 weeks. And I didn't sit down and practice every day, I have to admit that. I maybe did it like 2 or 3 times a week, maybe for an hour or so, that I sat down, watched the in-depth videos, and colored along. So what I will show you today is how far you can come within just 2 weeks of taking the class. And I just want to share this with you because a lot of you leave wonderful comments on my blog posts and on my videos. You tell me how much you enjoy the coloring, but a lot of you also say things like, oh, I can't do this, I wish I could, but I don't know how, I don't know where to start. And it just breaks my heart because you guys can do this too. Excuse me for saying that, I was a complete retard when it came to coloring. I had no idea about this at all, but I managed to do that. And I'm absolutely certain that you can master this as well. So check out my blog for an in-depth comparison about coloring classes and a coupon code to Kit and Clowder, which is valid at the time when this video will be published, and it will give you a discount on getting their classes. It's a time-limited coupon, so make sure to check this out before it expires. And I hope you'll enjoy the video. As I said, the video is not about me showing off every single little detail. It's about showing you how far I've progressed in the short time that I had taken that class. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave me a comment here on YouTube or on my blog post, and I'll do my best to answer it. Thanks, and enjoy the coloring. Hi guys, so let's talk about the coloring. I will not be showing you how I color the entire image because that would take about a little bit over an hour probably. And also, while I might show you some stuff, I'm not that good at explaining stuff, so I really suggest you look at the coloring classes, and this is just a demonstration of what I've learned after 2 weeks of in-depth studying how to use colored pencils. The first thing that I want to mention is the most important thing actually that I've learned is to work in layers. I had no idea that you could actually blend pencils with pencils. I thought you press down hard, you get a lot of color onto the paper, and then you drench it with Gamsol or baby oil or zest it, and you blend out the color. I had no idea you could actually blend with pencils. So that's why it's important to have a light hand, like to work in layers. Usually I work in 4 to 7 layers on these images, so it takes some time. And as you can see, having a light hand and having a sharp pencil, hint hint, allows you also to draw in details. I never would have thought to do that, and I was so happy when I learned that in the coloring class that I could just easily add some details. And I really suck at coloring, so I was really happy that I could manage that. And you can see me here, I put down the darkest color first, and I'm coming in with my second darkest color, and still I am holding the pencil very, very lightly and just applying the tiniest bit of pressure. Actually almost no pressure at all. This is just, the goal here is just simply to put down color where your shadows will be, so you know that. I'm progressing here, putting down the next, I had put down another shade of skin color, and now I'm coming in with this creamy color, and you can see that I go over the dark colors and blend out into the non-colored areas. And this is unlike with Copics because you want to tone your darker colors as well. And toning them means giving them a slightly different look and also smoothing them out, so you will have nice blends between the different colors. You can see here that I've progressed, and now I'm maybe on my, I think this is my third layer of color, and I'm slowly intensifying the color by pressing down harder. And I'm doing the legs at the same time as I do the face, because I have the colors out. I just might as well do that. And it takes some time to build up the color, and you add a little bit more pressure when you blend from the darker color out, and then you lessen the pressure when you get to the lighter areas, so it will be easier to blend with the next darkest color. It really takes some time to get the hang of how hard to press when, but really this is something that takes time and that you want to do step by step by step. This is not a one coat of color applied and you're done. So for layers after my last layer, this is where I ended up. You can see that my colors are much more vibrant and intense now. I'm putting quite some pressure onto my pencil because I want to get really a lot of color down, and I'm blending this out at the end with the white pencil, and you can see that I get a really nice and smooth blend. On the dress, I'm doing exactly the same thing. These are the colors that I'm using. They are all polychromos except this one Prismacolor pencil. You can mix those pencils together. It's absolutely no problem at all. And I'm putting down my shadow, my darkest color where the shadows would be. And the first coloring class that I took from Kit and Clowder was a copia coloring class about clothing. And I learned how to do folds in a dress, Marilyn Monroe style. There's a gust of air coming and the dress is flying up. And I was so giddy when I learned how to do folds in clothing, not just in dresses, in t-shirts, in jeans, in every type of clothing. And you can apply the same principle to your colored pencils. Once you have mastered or understood how colored pencils work, you can apply the same principles from the Copic classes to the colored pencil classes, which I find absolutely delightful. Now, while I'm coloring here, and again, very, very lightly applying color and building up my shadows and my highlights, I want to say something about the paper that I'm using. For colored pencils, you want to use paper that has some tooth, which means it's not completely smooth. I personally prefer watercolor paper. I like the watercolor paper called Torchon, Torchon. It's by the company Hanemühle, which is a German company, and I buy mine in my local art store in big sheets and cut them down to a card size. I can probably buy them in a pad as well, but I haven't seen them yet, so I just go to my local craft store and buy them there. And you can see that on my second layer here, I'm still not putting down a terrible lot of pressure, but I'm simply going over the exact same areas again with the same colors, and just by increasing my pressure a tiny teensy bit, not pressing down hard, really tiny teensy bit of pressure, I can intensify the colors. And that is basically how you build up your color with the colored pencils. You go over the same area again and again and again. Yes, it takes patience, and you increase the pressure every time a tiny little bit, just a tiny little bit. You go with your lighter colors, you go over the darker colors and blend out into the lighter areas, and that's how you get a really nice and smooth blend over time. And thanks to the texture of the watercolor paper, the pigment can actually hold on to the paper, and you're able to get this nice blended effect. You can see how the folds in her dress are really very, very intense, very bright, because I left space for the highlight, and only because I had watercolor paper, or like paper with texture where the pigment could hold on to or stick to, I was able to actually work in so many layers and put so much color down. If you have smooth paper, at some point you're just pushing around the color. So this is the finished image. As you can see, like, my hair is not perfect yet. I'm still taking the class on hair, actually, also by Kit and Clowder, so forgive my hair, but I hope you enjoyed the coloring, and don't forget to hop over to my blog for the coupon code, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!